Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mythic World Tour on my Fury Warrior. This is going to be Nokhud Offensive. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. It's how it's spelled, so, if I got it wrong, my bad. Alright, so this dungeon was, very fun and not fun at the same time, if you catch my drift. You can dragon ride around, so I take it for Mythic Plus, this is going to be probably the most variable dungeon there is, because you're probably going to have a lot of tanks since you can fly around that try different routes out and see what's the most efficient, like, oh, what can you skip, what's the easiest to skip. So watch out for that, because I found in the Mythic Zero, since you don't have to kill everything, for percentage, anything for percentage, we just took the fastest route possible. So the first trash, before this boss, since this boss doesn't do a lot, I'm going to talk about the first trash we just did. You got to clear out the ballistas, the crossbow things, before you get to the boss. That's what brings the boss down. The mobs are pretty straightforward. There's a few crossbow guys that stand at range, so you can't really, you gotta watch out for that. The tank has to watch out for that. And then there's the war stomp that they do that you have to get out of. That's pretty straightforward, pretty much it. There are a few paths that you have to watch out for. Okay, for this boss, he does two things. He does a Shard of Eruption that you can't dodge, it just does a bunch of AoE, and then a big, huge Eruption cast that, as you can see, if you don't interrupt it, you will die. Tectonic Stomp. Don't stand in, pretty much. That's straightforward. He sends these saboteurs out that try to disable the lance, so you have to kill those. That's pretty much the name of the game here. You have to kill those, stun them, stop them from disabling the lances, or else you wipe from the eruption cast. And that's it. Pretty easy. And then you dragon ride to the other, the next boss. Now, the last boss you can't go and do, obviously, but you can do these next three bosses, or the first three bosses, in any order you want, I'm pretty sure. It's just, I haven't seen any tanks that do it any other way but this. These next mobs, they're mainly casters. I haven't seen a deadly cast yet. They do shock bolts or I think Tempest is the one you want to interrupt because it's an AoE lightning storm that he does. So watch out for Tempest. You basically just go dragon riding around to these totems and you kill the totems and then it activates the boss. So pretty much like the trash before the first boss. Watch out for the ground. You see that lightning effect on the ground? It's kind of hard to see sometimes. If you stand in it, you just take some damage. Yeah, this dungeon's probably gonna be the dungeon that you see have the weirdest routes or the most different routes at the start, until there's a solidified meta. So, because you can fly around, you don't have to clear the way, you can just jump over things because you can fly. Alright, so this is the last thing we have to clear before the boss. Now this boss is, you can do it two different ways. You can YOLO it and just don't care about the orbs and just try to burn him down before he gets insanely powerful, or you can do it the right way. Alright, so you see these orbs flying around? They're trying to fly towards the boss, and if this boss soaks them, he does more damage. So you have to not let that happen. he starts doing an electrical storm that's an AoE, which if he had absorbed a bunch of orbs, like bam, he just did, he ends up doing more damage with it. Now the lightning strike that you just saw, you can actually, it's funny, I just disconnected. That's part of the fight too, you actually get disconnected. Nah, I'm just messing. Well, where was I? Oh, right, the lightning strikes. You can actually blow up the bubbles with the lightning strikes too. Now, as you can see, I don't know what those orbs are doing right now. I know after the fact, because I've done this dungeon twice now, that you're supposed to be absorbing those orbs because you end up doing more damage when you gather them. You take a bit of damage, but you do more damage. So that's something you have to communicate with your healer and be like, hey, you know, I'm about to soak 14 orbs, you know. Alright, so on to the next. You need to go to each, I guess, the grave hill thing and take out these mobs here. I didn't see anything too bad. They do have a frontal AoE cone and a thing on the ground as well. And what I didn't notice is I had a debuff on me that I was doing 30% less damage because I didn't know that's what they did. But as soon, I'll show you right here. He took my soul away. As you can see, my soul is sitting right there. I'm clueless. So I'm sitting there doing 30% less damage and being like, where's my damage? But yeah, you just run to your soul and you're good to go. I don't think any of these paths go towards the boss over there. I don't think any of them do. So you literally can just drag and ride around to each of these spots, kill the mobs, and you're good to go to the boss. But for Mythic Plus, you're probably going to need to see if you need to kill any of these for percentage. But other than that, okay. So this is these bosses share health. They have, you know, a shared health pool. You just AoE them down. One of them's range. You can't move him. He will, you know, try to jump away. And then the other one's melee. Now the range guy puts this gale on everybody that sends out tornadoes in a cross pattern. So there's probably going to be a weak ore that tells you where to go. That's the most efficient and, you know, the best route. And the melee guy does a AoE fear around him that you just, yeah, the frightful war right there, you just run out of it, go back in, and that's when the range guy decides to change his position. He just jumps away. Other than that, there's an interrupt that you have to do on the range guy. That's pretty much it. You just get DPS him down. Alright, so the transition from this boss to the next boss area, you have to be quick and don't find yourself in like a bad position, because Stormcaller's Fury knocks you off your mount, so you can't fly anymore. The first time I did this, I was like caught way out. I was off in Narnia because I was just flying to the next boss. It was bad. Alright, so these mobs, there's a lot of them actually you can skip. We didn't skip, but a lot of these you can just skip. Yeah, look at that. This is why these are skipped, because there's frontal cleaves, there's casters, there's ranged guys, there's a guy that fears. This is not pretty. I just realized right then and there that I didn't have my pummel macro out, which made it so it's a mouse over interrupt. That's what I tried to do that on that guy, and it didn't work. So I was like, what the heck? Right, so yeah, that's what these mobs do. They do a blood curdling shout that fears for 5 seconds. It's these Nokhud, the guys that cleave, the defenders. They're the guys that do the fear. Right, so just got one more trash bag to go before the boss. This guy does the same thing. He does a blood curdling shout that has a fear. He does a stampede towards an area. Just don't stand in it, pretty much. Frontal AoE cone. All this is straightforward. Don't stand in stuff kind of stuff. Right, and now we're on the next boss here. This is the final boss. So I don't know if the best route is to lust at start or if you wait for the 50%. But like right here, he phases. You end up not being able to do any damage to him, and then these 4 ads spawn. I wonder if the best route is to go lust here to get him out of this phase as fast as possible. And yeah, he just goes to the next phase. He targets a random person and throws a spear at them, and then that spear brings everyone in. That brings everyone in towards the spear, and then he charges at that. So as soon as you get pulled in by the spear, you have to move immediately. That's why the person that gets speared probably shouldn't stand right on the boss. And there you go. Easy peasy. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you liked the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the video out more, the channel out more than you know. And take care.